All right, thank you for staying with us. The conversation right now is about governance, accountability, probity, truth, and of course, having the people in mind, especially when public office holders go about their business, especially the business of politics and governance. And we had to bring these to the fore because it has to do with the people and public perception about issues, especially holding public trust. I'm talking about those in offices, especially people's patrimony, people's funds, and of course, how this makes us look, you know, in the eye of the people watching beyond the shores of this nation, and how the world categorizes which kind of people are these ones, especially when we're always going about our talk as the big brother in Africa. If actually we are still the big brother and we want to lead the continent in the way we're doing things. All right. This is no more news that there has been this back and forth between Ayo Fayose and that's former governor of Ekiti State, and of course, Governor Seyi Makinde, the incumbent governor of Oyo State. It started, like less than a week ago when Seyi Makinde had a press parley and he spoke on a range of things that has to do with politics, his decision, and his regret, whatever that is, that he has called here right now, supporting Mr. President. His conviction was about the South deserved, and he and his like minds at the time, the G5 brothers, that was made up of former governors at that time. All right. And they said, according to him, it was unfair for the PDP, which was those persons' party and still his own party right now, to present or to make open the candidacy of, the presidency, talking about the 2023 election, to be open-ended. People have been closed and say, Buhari has just finished his 8 terms and he's of the northern origin. 8 years of 2 times. Let it be the turn of the South. Of course, that is history. And he said that was their conviction. And they decided, he and his brothers, to work for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But, while others was going on, there was this back and forth with one of his brothers, Wiki, at the time, that took another position of saying, I'm going to hold the PDP for you, for 2027. And he said, he asked Wiki, we didn't agree on this. And he said that was their fallout. And he spoke on the range of things, how the president reached out to him, or they had a conversation that he should hold the APC, together for him in Oyo. And he said he rejected. He had a nomination from his end to Mr. President to occupy a certain position, which wasn't done. And so after that, and he said he wasn't going to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu again. But a few days after that, it was the turn of Ayo Fayose on the national TV, and he spoke on a range of things, accusing, Governor Makinde of not being total with his truth, or being, being smart by half, by not declaring, the content of the meetings they had with the president. He only said the part, according to Fayose. He didn't say the other part, talking about money, how money was given to him for the relief of the aftermath of that bomb blast in Ibadan. And he said to the tune of 50 billion naira. Why was Seyi Makinde talking about all of those other issues without talking about the financial part of the meetings that he had with the president? I'll now you take a look. And of course, the program will continue.
All, and I want Nigerians to listen to this. My name, again, is Ayo Fayose. The president of Nigeria, yes, you wanted a minister to be appointed. Circumstances did not allow you to get that slot. But you did not tell Nigerians you got at the prerogative, at the mercy of Mr. President. You got a 50 billion naira in support of the explosion in Ibadan. He never said that to Nigeria.
Of course, that was where the back and forth started. And he said he was ready. And there are other things that has been done for Seyi Makinde by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that Seyi Makinde has refused to disclose to the people of your state. And he said his own peg of gunpowder is keeping it dry for now. And if it gets to that level, he might have to reveal more. And of course, the government of Seyi Makinde responded to that to say, you should provide the evidence. And of course, a few days after that, maybe very shortly, he released a document that was talking about Ayo Fayose, and in which that document, was more like an A4 size that was just cropped in half. And that was it. Very quick, just like I said, our producers who put it off very shortly. It reads, Federal Minister of Finance, Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, and request for special intervention, and yada yada yada. We get, of course, this is where you have it, and all of those things. And you will see the first in that, on that particular list, was Oyo State Oyo. Request for intervention funding support for the reconstruction of old Bodija and environs after Bodija explosion. Amount requested 50 billion. We get there to that point. But then we have with us Mr. Bukola Idowu. He is a policy and public affairs analyst, and of course the executive director of Impact Development Initiative is there with us in the studios. Good morning, Mr. Idowu.
Good morning, and good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. Now, what do you make of this development? It seems we have not had the last of it as of now. These are, persons, politically inclined persons, politicians who are having a go at themselves and throwing figures all over the place, allegations and counter allegations, opinions, denials, and here we are.
Well, I think my impression and my view about it, when I, of course, following it from the interview Governor Seyi Makinde granted, was and then the response of Ayo Fayose, me trying to counter some things from that interview. And I just discovered that the entire conversation have moved from developmental to personal. It's no longer about the development of the country. It's no longer about the development of the state. It's all more about sycophancy. It's more about personal issues that you want to straighten out, and with that, you now begin to see the true character of who the politicians are and what they are after. And for me, for someone like me, I won't. Looking at everything Ayo Fayose said, if you just want to take politics out and then analyze things the way it should be, then there are a lot of questions we should ask. Right. Number one is you need to first of all ask yourself a question, because Ayo Fayose said he didn't tell the people that he got 50 billion from Mr. President. Which money is that? 50 billion. And you said, and that money is not the prerogative of the president. It's a special fund. Yeah. Special relief fund for disaster, natural disaster, and a whole lot of things that happen. And if you look at the memo he released, it was not only Oyo State. Yeah. There are a lot of states.
It was cropped.
It was cropped, but he gave us that of Oyo State. So which means, look, that money was not even a favor. In the first instance, let's first of all put that there. Is what was, if there has not been that bomb blast, or I don't know if it's an explosion, let's stick to explosion in Ibadan, then the government of Oyo State will not be asking for that money. You understand? That is number one. Let's put that one down. Then number two is, at the end of the day, and I think the Oyo State government said, look, we did not get 50 billion. Provide proof that we got 50 billion. And he released that memo. Even that memo did not even say they disbursed 50 billion. Yeah. It's just the amount requested. Yeah. And if you bring it up again, you see the last paragraph before the table that was even saying the outstanding amount. That, look, this is the outstanding amount. So when you look at that, you see it's more or less like when you now bring in politics, you want to distort fact.
Our producers can please bring up that memo so that we make a point of it.
So now, that is, I think that should be point number 3 now. He said the honorable minister may wish to further, I think,
further note
yes,
the schedule that the sum of 450.7 billion naira was disbursed, leaving an outstanding balance of 464.7 billion naira
as outlined below. That's so the one below is outstanding. outstanding. As a matter of fact, if you look at that, it shows that, look, this is not, I think this should be the first, let me put it this way, this will be the first memo.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, there will be another memo that now released 30 billion to your state. But this was the first memo that was released. So let's just put that one aside. Now, but this is the question we need to also ask ourselves. Think about it, because I see this as they are not talking about, the question again now is not about, oh, did you use the 30 billion for what it was meant to be used for? Is you got 30 billion, you didn't get 30 billion. And that usually is coming up because Seyi Makinde decided to touch their mentor, their God, and say, look, I'm not going to support this person. And I regretted my action in 2023. It's not going to happen. And that is when Ayo Fayose have to come out to say, look, what is he talking about? He got 50 billion. He didn't do this. Now, the question is this. If you are even saying Seyi Makinde siphoned 50 billion, what were you looking at? So what I'm trying to say is that if he did not touch Tinubu, then we will not have heard about this conversation. And that tells you the character of the politicians. So, and the same thing tells you the strategy at which people are decamping to APC. So because they have something about you, they keep quiet and they use it and say, look, you come, and then that sin is forgiven. Now, and that is the situation. So we cannot run a country this way. We cannot. You see, look at the entire money being it's in billions. And billions have now become as if you are talking about thousands of naira. Billions. We are not even talking about millions. Billions. You collected this, you want to use this for your stuff, you want to use it for presidential ambition, whatever. But my point is this. When you see the politician arguing about some of these things, it is no longer about the citizen. And again, when you look at the response of your government, it also shows that, look, the entire 30 billion given to us, this was how we spent it, because the entire money, according to your government, was not to go directly to the people affected. Only 15% was to go directly to the people affected. That is the landlord, the tenant. There are hospital bills there, reconstruction, security. So they itemize it. That, look, this was how the entire 30 billion was spent. And they even made a further allegation. If you read their response, they even made a further allegation that the 20 billion was not released because they were not ready to give bribe.
That those in charge asked them for bribe.
Those in charge asked them for bribe. So these are, you see, if you are a serious country by now, we should be protesting because of what exactly is going on. We just came out from tax gazette law forgery or whatever.
Have we even come out?
We have not. I mean, so we've not even come out. Thank you. And then we are having this back and forth, and it looks like something. And exactly then, before you will say Jack Robinson, you see people pulling themselves together, maybe 26 of them, and say, "You are our father. Take Toyota Camry." And you look at even the code of conduct. We are public officials. Are they expected to collect gifts? Oh, these are a whole lot of things we should be.
Yes, Idowu, with your line of thoughts there, I'm going to ask you, do you find it concerning, deeply disturbing that it is an Ayo Fayose that is responding to, some of the things, the weighty things that Seyi Makinde said in that press conference, right? Do you find it disturbing? I mean, Ayo Fayose is not even in government. It's not in this administration at all.
Was not even mentioned at the interview.
At the interview. So do you find it disturbing that it is not an aid to the president who's responding, especially if not for anything, for the part about, okay, well, it's Ayo Fayose that is talking about the money. Do you find it disturbing?
I find it, I see, very, very disturbing. And that is why I said it's all about sycophancy. Because people want to please the president and then deliver an errand that the president did not send them. And this for me also is buttressing what Seyi Makinde said during that interview. And what did he say? He said, look, when Wike said he's going to hold PDP down, he said it's not because the president asked him. So people just go out and defend something that is not defendable on behalf of the president. We have not seen either Daniel Bukola or Ononuga. None of them have spoken about this. That is number one. First of all, put that one aside. Number two, you even expect Wike the bullet was shot out directly to respond. Wike has not responded. And now it's Ayo Fayose coming to talk and divert the attention from what was said and now begin to bring in 50 billion into the conversation. But leave that as it may, one of the things you also need to know is that you cannot begin to take side with politicians. You understand? Because one, they know where they meet, they know where they distribute their loot, and it's because when there is no interest at play or they have a divergent interest, and then that is where you see them begin to have issues. At the end of the day, if their issue align again, think about it this way. Just think about it. By December 31st, if Governor Seyi Makinde defects to APC and say, look, I am going to support Asiwaju and I'm now carrying broom, you will see all of them go to Oyo State to go and receive him into that party. And you will even see the same Ayo Fayose now start praising him that he has done, you should support Asiwaju because Asiwaju is doing. You see, when you look at this kind of people, and I was telling them, I had a program, I said, look, the kind of politician we have can never be an ideal model of leadership. They can never be an ideal model of mentorship. People that talks about two sides of their mouth, number two, and then you now begin to look at people that openly do what is called antipathy. And then they keep talking about democracy, and they keep talking about leadership. Now, people that keep moving, you can't even say this is the value. They move to where their interest is protected, not because they have values, not because they believe in a particular policy. Is anything goes. Now, people are suffering. Nobody is saying anything because it is your God that is in power. And then you keep quiet. Now, the person you don't want. Now, let me ask you a question. This same Ayo Fayose was very vocal against, against Buhari, President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, what has Buhari done that this administration have not done? And have you seen Ayo Fayose come out to criticize? Are we talking about insecurity?
From that interview.
Are we talking about insecurity? Or if he's saying we should praise Tinubu wherever he's done, does that mean Buhari did not do anything good? No. Does that mean Buhari did not do anything good? Does that mean Buhari did not lay any foundation? Or does that these are just politicians. You understand? And my concern is how this set of people, their generation, and the generation that is ending with this wicked age set have reduced governance to child's play. And then and if you continue like this, just think about it. In the next 4 election cycle, that is in the next 4 World Cup, just think about it. The kind of leader we will have in State House of Assembly, the kind of leader we will have as governors, what will we have as president, special advisor. So that is exactly what is going on here.
All right, let's talk about the evidence that was released. I mean, when Fayose was talking about the fact that he was going to release evidence here, this one now is from the Federal Ministry of Finance, that this is Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. What threshold of documentation would you have expected that would have passed as evidence, to actually reveal that money was actually given for personal use?
So I would prefer that the producer just leave it here. Number one, I would have preferred evidence that shows money was sent to Oyo State. Number two, I would prefer an evidence that show money was received by Oyo State, acknowledgement copy that we have received money. This letter, this memo has nothing to do with Oyo State. This memo was written from Accountant General Office to the Honorable Minister of Finance. You can see as it was cropped. Maybe Ekiti State was even part of it. That is why they cropped the thing off. You understand? And so this was a conversation between Accountant General and
the AG's office and the Ministry of Finance.
The AG's office and the Ministry of Finance. So how can you now say this is a proof that he collected money? And when they are even saying there is an outstanding, that means that we don't even have enough. They have trillion requests and we only have billion in the account. So we cannot meet all the requests. So I mean this does, and that's why I say it's a diversion. It's a diversion.
And at best, this is coming from a place of amount requested.
Amount requested.
Not disbursed.
Not disbursed. And so let's see how much that is. There a document that shows this amount was disbursed? And then to even show that, look, this amount was received by an acknowledged copy. Do you understand? And then let's now see where you say, look, this is the amount that went to the people, and this one was taken into a private account for your presidential ambition, as you claimed. But you cannot just be petty. Is this admissible? Lawyers, I mean, you cannot be saying, look, you collected 50 billion and you are showing a memo between this. So it's more or less like, okay, maybe the head of station here, you just talking to the, maybe the CEO and say, look, we need to promote this particular staff. And just send a memo to the place. And then I went out and said, that man was promoted. Okay, provide evidence that I was promoted, and you are now showing a memo that was sent to the management that's recommending that you should promote somebody. But was the person promoted? Was there a letter to say, look, you have been promoted? That is, this money has been disbursed. And then when you even look at FAC, the allocation, you will see it published and said, these are the amount of money that has been disbursed, for instance, for November. Allocation. Approved and disbursed. You will see it stated. So you cannot be talking about internal memo. And again, this also talk about, see, let's look at something. Now, when you look at that memo, it was actually a leaked memo. It was not a memo requested through FOI. It also talks about the secrecy, the integrity of our institution. How memo are being leaked left, right, and center. So who leaked the, and these are questions you should ask. Who leaked the memo of Accountant General to the Honorable Minister, to the public, to a politician that is not even in government? See, what I am doing this morning is that take the politician out and let's face the real issue that we are talking about here. Governance, the integrity of institutions,
right.
All of them have been jeopardized.
The Oyo State government, has further responded to these, and of course, the three jibes at, or expectedly, unfortunately, expectedly so, and in fact, they are saying that the whole world should clamp down on half education, because they believe, in their words, that's what is disturbing Fayose, that half education is a problem, because if not, that's just on a personal level. But what they are saying is the federal government, and this is a statement from Mr. Olariwaju, I think the special assistant to the governor, special advisor on media, Sulaiman Olariwaju, to Governor Makinde. He said the federal government did not give Governor Makinde 50 billion naira. What exists on record is a request and a promise, not a disbursement. And according to the governors, a document cited to support the allegation merely showed a proposal and not an actual release of funds that has to, he explained that after the January 2024 explosion in Bodija, Ibadan, which killed resident and destroyed property, Governor Makinde traveled to Abuja with a detailed assessment report to request federal intervention, especially after President Bola Tinubu did not visit the state. And quoting him now, a promise is not a release. When it was time to act, only 30 billion naira was released, he said, adding that the remaining 20 billion naira was withheld after demands linked to inducement were introduced, which the governor refused. And he added that the governor chose not to publicly litigate negotiations tied to a national tragedy, focusing instead on relief and recovery efforts. And they now talked about the money was spent. Actually, it was to support The federal government support during the inauguration of a committee established to manage and disburse the relief funds and all of those things. Damaged roads being repaired, rebuilding was ongoing. Plans were underway to construct a memorial at the site of the explosion to honor those that lost their lives. And the statement clarified that the 4.5 billion naira figure often cited in public discussions refers strictly to direct financial assistance given to victims, including landlords and tenants. And that's what they spent that 4.5 billion naira on. That amount represents 15% and all of those things. Now, two questions for me from that. Number one is talking about accountability and probity and transparency. Did the governor of Oyo State, on behalf of the Oyo people, declare that he got an intervention from the president to the tune of 30 billion naira at any point? Because there is a way state government gets help, grant, sometimes, especially grants from you should be, familiar with that, and they will make it look like it's the effort of the state government that is doing all of this. Not until sometimes maybe the information comes from other political actors, and then you see them owing up to say, oh, we are not spending it, we are spending it on behalf of the people. At any time, was there information that the state government came and said, we have received help from the federal government to the tune of 30 billion naira? And the issue of saying the other 20 billion naira was withheld because of some persons asking to be induced. And they said they didn't want to make it a judicial or, file a suit because of the tragedy attached. The issue of transparency. Let's look into that, because now the Oyo State government is saying it was a proposal of 50 billion naira. It wasn't the disbursement. Even the disbursement of 30 billion naira, was there a disclosure of that, making the people to know that this came. And then when you check the language of the man, the special advisor on media, he was talking about the federal government gave Governor Seyi Makinde. Is it giving Governor Seyi Makinde or the Oyo State government? So because this semantics should matter.
Yeah, so I think that is where I started the other time, because we need to be able to understand what governance is all about. Right. You see, most of these people are bunch of permit me to use the word bunch now, people who are not well skilled in leadership and governance. Now, and that has reduced governance as a means of compensation as against competence. So appointment is based on loyalty and to compensate you as against whether you are competent. And there is nothing bad in that. You can even do that. But are they trained? Let's even look at ourselves. What is our structural way of training leaders in this country? Getting into a position. Now, you see that you have first-time legislators. Are they being trained? What do they need to do? Now, for instance, now, people are learning on the job. So you spend 4 years to learn on the job, and then the following year, you are no longer back there. And then you have new set of people. So they are not being trained. So that is why you now begin to see all these goofing when it comes to nomenclature. And because the people have made a state to be equal with the governor, the same thing they do in their party is what they do. Because the moment a governor comes in, it becomes the leader of the party. Meanwhile, that party have a chairman at that state level. So, as a matter of fact, today, though there is a national chairman of APC, but what it means is that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the leader of that party. They cannot even call any meeting without his approval. So, now, because what they do in their party is what they are translating into governance. And that is why they see anything that comes from either the governor or the president as if is a favor. Now, even look at it, because some of the things, and let's be sincere with ourselves, some of the things we accept in this country, they are impeachable offense. They are things that we should be protesting against. They are things that we should, the National Assembly, the State House of Assembly should be impeaching governors for. Let me give you an example. You took state money to construct road or to construct anything, at the end of the day, you put your name there. It's not done. It's not your money. It's the state money. You, everybody, pay tax, and then we give the tax to you, and we give everything to you as a custodian. Manage this money. But we now say, look, how are you going to manage this money? Then come up with a budget. And we send representatives and scrutinize the budget, approve the budget. And then you now take our money to go and do that thing. And you now put your money there. At the end of the day, you will now even see some of your colleagues are guilty of this, reporting, thanking the governor and the president for doing his constitutional responsibility. So we thank the governor for constructing this road with his money. Somebody we should be saying, look, what you even construct with the amount is of low standard. But we will still be thanking.
We're
and I have
for a
seen,
break, but you know, I'd like you to hint that part of full disclosure.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Now, and we have seen a situation where, and I'll tell you, where the money used to commission was more than the money used for the project. Now, this is where we are now going. Now, because money went to maybe landlord and people, and they say, hey, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Nobody is asking where does this money comes from. And the Oyo government will not even say, hey, we got this money from the federal government, from special fund. They will disburse the money as if it's the state government or Governor Seyi Makinde that disbursed the money to them. That alone is an error. Number two, you are only looking at the money that comes from this federal government. There are international organizations that give money. There are private businesses that give money, relief fund. There are individuals that came and support. People were supporting. Fellow governors supported. So when we are talking about transparency, I think your government should publish how much you do receive. Okay, 30 billion, we already know that you received 30 billion from the federal government, even if you did not disclose it. Now we have seen that. Then what about international organization? What about private sector? A lot of private sector, even in Oyo State, supported. What about individual philanthropy that say, look, we are supporting with this? What about those hospitals that contributed and did not collect money? So let's publish it. That is what accountability.
Or those who provided logistics.
Hotels. You understand? That is what accountability and transparency is all about. You see, I keep telling people, the problem we have in Nigeria is not about transparency. It's about accountability. And I explain. Transparency is we got 30 billion. Accountability is tell us how you spend the 30 billion. That is what they won't do. And that is why they can tell you, oh, the amount of money that came in from the oil, is, oh, we have received this amount of money. Tell us how the money is being spent. Accountability. Account for it. That is where the challenge is. But they can tell you, this is the budget, transparency. Oh, we are past the budget, transparency. Oh, we received this money, allocation, transparency. How is this being spent? Accountability. Then they go blank.
All right, everyone, at this point, we take this quick break. When we return, it is to more deeper conversations. Stay with us.
Can you imagine the feeling when you get your news as they break with facts and clarity? Our news are reported as it is.
In Africa, and all those who masterminded the way it happened, we have to pay a price.
Enjoy Western programs projecting culture and tradition to the world. Brought to you as The Break and recapped every hour for your update.
Fellow Nigeria, how to improve your welfare is of paramount importance to me.
Produced and brought to you in a unique way never before seen.
Western Spring
And Western Spring Television. Television is coming home in your color and culture.
Welcome to Obaoke, a hidden gem in Osun State, surrounded by 9 smaller towns and villages, nestled far from the hustle and bustle of civilization. The nearest major town to Obaoke is Okene. This peculiar town would have remained in